Today we're looking at what I consider to be some of the best reverb plugins ever made. Let's get into it. In 2022, there's so many different reverb options out there, but today I'm going to show you what I consider to be the very best, the most useful, the best sounding, the most fun to use, and the ones that get used most in my productions. And this is not a sponsored video. I'm just sharing my experience of working in audio for over 20 years and the ones that I find the most exciting and the best sounding for the work that I've done for 20 years. The first reverb I want to talk about today is the Eventide Blackhole. Now, the first time I heard this reverb in a demo, it was on my radar, and the first time it came up on sale after that, I grabbed it, and I have not regretted that purchase at all. This is one of my go-to reverbs. This is not a traditional reverb. This does way out spacey effects, as the name might suggest. This is amazing for like cinematic music, amazing for electronic music, or anything that you want to create like these massive, larger than life reverb tails that you don't get from just a traditional or typical reverb. So this does something that no other reverb that I have does. It just gives you this otherworldly sound. And I do have a little synth arpeggio that I want to play and run this through the black hole so you can hear what it does. So let me first play that dry, and then I'll turn on the black hole reverb. Now with black hole. Gorgeous tail. And so again, this is an otherworldly, larger-than-life, cinematic, EDM, electronic reverb. Definitely you could use it in other genres, especially if you're more adventurous in the sounds that you're mixing. Like I could see somebody using this in rock music if it was a little more of an adventurous band. But this is not a traditional reverb. This is not something you're going to use for your main reverb, but it's so fun, and I use it all the time because I do a lot of cinematic music and electronic music. So super useful. There's no other reverb I have that's like it, and I think it's one of the best reverbs ever made. The next reverb I want to talk about is the Waves Abbey Road plates. Now this is definitely a more traditional reverb. It's something that you could use on traditional sources like vocal, acoustic. Not that you couldn't use the black hole on those things, but this is going to give you that more traditional sound. They were able to sample the plates inside of Abbey Road Studios. And so you have 4 different plates in this reverb. You have A, B, C, and D, and they give you the different sounds of the different plates that they modeled inside of Abbey Road Studios. So if you're really serious about mixing, you absolutely should have a plate reverb because they just have a certain sound, certain character that you just can't get with other non-plate reverbs. And this one is really great. There's a lot that you can do with the controls here to manipulate the sound. So I have a vocal that I'm going to play for you. I'll play it first dry, and then I'll run it through the Abbey Road plate so you can hear what this sounds like.
Alleluia, alleluia, for the Lord God Almighty reigns.
I love that you can see the little plate reverberating as it plays. So now here's with the Abbey Road plates.
Alleluia, alleluia, for the Lord God Almighty reigns.
So absolutely gorgeous sound. And I had that turned up quite a bit. Obviously, it's probably a lot louder than I would have it in a mix, but I want you to really hear the character of this reverb. So beautiful. This is great for vocals. Also, I use this sometimes for snare drum, like a shorter decay time on snare drum. This can really be the thing for snare. But it has these great presets. If you click load here, the presets are great to just kind of dial something up quickly, and then you can further tweak it with the settings here. Great reverb and really affordable as well. The next plugin I want to talk about is Valhalla Room. Now, before Valhalla Room came out, I was mostly using hardware reverbs, but once I heard Valhalla Room, I started to get confident that I could actually use in-the-box reverbs. And this was my go-to for so long, for so many things, because it just sounded so great. Now I've added a lot more reverbs to my palette, but this is still a go-to for me. I love how it sounds on vocals. And this is similar to the Blackhole in the way that it can do just kind of out of this world sounds, really beautiful tails. You can see here the decay is right now 3.4 seconds, but I can go all the way up to 100 seconds, and you can just create special ambient effects even just with cranking this decay up. And it doesn't really sound like typical reverbs. This is a lot more lush, a lot more cinematic, a lot more spacey than your typical reverb, but I just love the way it sounds, and so I still use it all the time on vocals. But let me play a vocal for you. I'll play it first dry, and then I'll pop it through the Valhalla Room.
Your life is just beginning.
Now with Valhalla Room.
Your life is just beginning.
Beautiful tail. Now let me crank that decay up so you can just hear what that tail sounds like if you just really add a ton of decay to it.
Your life is just beginning.
So you can hear there's some fun things that you can do with this reverb. I think it's just a beautiful reverb. Still one of my favorites, and I think it's one of the best ever made. The next plugin I want to talk about is Spaces 2, and this is by a company called East West, and East West is actually known for their sample libraries and sampled orchestras, and this is a plugin that's very different than the other ones that we've covered so far. This is a convolution reverb that actually aims to recreate real spaces, so it has opera houses, orchestra halls. It even has caves and forests, and there's so many spaces that they've recreated inside of studios. But my favorite is to use this on some of the orchestral stuff I do, and to put the orchestra or to put like violins or cellos in a real space. And so you get a sense of realism that you don't get obviously with Valhalla Room or Eventide Blackhole. This is a more real sound, so if that's what you're going for, this gives you that real intimate sound that makes you feel like you're inside of a hall or that you're inside of the space that they've recreated. So I actually have a orchestra, and this is a piece that I wrote, and I took all of my reverb off of it and I made a dry mix so that I could send it through this hall so that you could see, so that you could hear the sound of Spaces 2. So let me play that first dry, and then I'll put it through the Reynolds Hall in Spaces 2. Okay, now with Spaces. So I think they did a great job. All of a sudden you feel like you're in that hall instead of just in this dry space. Great convolution reverb. If you're looking for something that recreates real spaces, this one does an amazing job at it. The next plugin I wanted to talk to you about is the Slate Digital Verbsuite Classics. Now, Slate Digital partnered with Liquid Sonics to create this plugin, and they took 8 of some of the most iconic reverbs and sampled them all. And so there's different emulations of some of the most popular all-time reverbs within this unit. And this is going to be more of a reverb workhorse. Now, if I could only choose one reverb out of all the ones that I talked about today, I'd probably choose this one because it's the most versatile and you could achieve a lot of different sounds with this. If you go inside the presets here, they've got a lot of great presets: drums, guitar, keys, strings, vocal. And so even just starting with these presets, there's a lot of great sounds built into this. Now, I've used this on all sorts of different sources, and it always sounds good. Again, this is kind of the workhorse. It can just achieve a lot of different sounds, and it can definitely get more of the traditional type sounds that you would want for vocals, acoustic, drums. This is going to be the go-to for those kind of things. If you're really doing pop mixes or things that you want to sound really clean and lush, this is the one I would use for that. Great reverb. Liquid Sonics and Slate Digital did a great job. So I have an acoustic guitar that I'm going to run through this, and so I'll first play it dry and then we'll pop in the reverb. Now with reverb. So yeah, that made a huge difference. Immediately gave it a lot more polished and pro sound. So this is a great reverb and there's a lot that it can do. The last plugin on this list is the Soundtoys Little Plate. This is an awesome sounding reverb and it's very inexpensive. And as you can see, the controls are really simple. I love plugins like this that just sound amazing. Really simple controls. They're kind of just put it on and you instantly have a good sound. One of the things I love about it is it can sound good with really short decay times. Like it can go all the way down to a half second, and it can go up to infinity decay, and you can get great results on either end of those spectrums. And so I have a little guitar riff. I'm going to play that for you first. I'll play it on a shorter decay, like a second and a half, and then I'll also crank it up to infinity so you can hear what that does. So here's the guitar first dry. Now with the little plate. And let me play that again with the decay turned all the way up. I just love the little plate. Every time I use it, it puts a smile on my face. So there you have it. In my opinion, those are some of the very best reverbs that have ever been made, and it's the best ones that I think we have right now in 2022. If you got value out of this video, please like this video and also subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell for notifications so that you'll know when my next videos come out. Also, you can find some discounts on some plugins in the description of this video. And if you want to see my other best of videos, you can find those right here. Thank you so much. Have a great day.